All right, folks, that's the best I could do. I hope you can see down in there. We're going to throw a little filler on the Zeus holes. They got to be pretty because we're just going to press glass right over it, right? I think I just heard that thing go pop, which means it probably popped out of the hole there a little bit. This stuff really thick too with the microspheres. I put a lot of extra glass spheres in it because I wanted to be sure it was going to stay right where I put it, you know. Stuff will thin up a little bit too once you get the resin in the glass on top of it. It'll kind of integrate, you know what I mean? Boop, 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 boop. Just a tiny little bit of catalyst in this too, because we certainly don't want this stuff kicking off before we get a good amount of glass in here and get it rolled out with the saturation roller, you know. Unlike the racetrack, this part not a fashion show. Okay, good enough. Let's roll. Lining her up. Lining her up. We're going to dump just a little bit extra resin here, just a splash. Because I don't have any more hardener right here with me, so if I needed to mix more, I'd be in trouble. Okay, we have brushy, we have resin. Let's get busy. Throw a little resin here just to smooth things over. I help everything just stay stuck in place as we stick it on. Brush there, it's all good. Let's stick these solid pieces in first. Okay. Now we're just going to put resin on. We're not going to get real crazy about evening everything out or getting rid of puddles or nothing because we have a lot of glass to put on here. So we're going to end up getting the bottom layers really wet and then sucking the resin up through the bottom layers into the upper layers as we go. Got a nice breeze coming in the door here, folks, or I would be wearing a mask, especially putting my face down in here. This polyester will kill you, man. You breathe this stuff in for too long. Like anything else, right? Okay, so we got both those down. Let's go ahead and put some of these in. Lost one there. Want these long, you want them to go right through that transition, and sharp edge down in there. And we split them in two pieces because they're going to be easier to keep from wrinkling when, you know, because we're round here. Let me squeegee some of this resin up out of here. We don't want to get it soaked. You just use that edge to get that resin right out of there. Yeah, we're going to have to move pretty quick. It smells pretty ripe. Throw a little extra on here and then soak it up through the next layers as well. Okay. Then we got our big piece. Again, split in two. Soaking it up through. It may not come right away, you know. You may get stuff like this here where it's still a little binder going on there in the fabric. Here you got all these little bubbles, and so don't even worry about it right now. See, as you're trying to pull it up through with extra layers, and you got to keep in mind, you may have to just lay the resin to it at some point because it's starting to go on you and it's not completely wet. This right here, hardened up, won't do you any good, folks. So you use as much of it as you can to get it emulsifying, so you don't have to cover all of it with resin, heavy amounts of resin. Here, we didn't get a bunch up here. This is off the two layers that are underneath onto the original bit of nose. Now, some guys will roll every layer of glass with a saturation roller. I don't. I mean, you know, it depends on the part, I guess. If you had a lot of problems with these tight corners down here, you might get a real small diameter roller and roll in there every layer. But this being our old nose cone, you know, not too worried about it. A little added res there on this bit of old nose here, where it was dry. Glasses are coming off. Get a bit here too. And we got at least another layer on this return flange. You've got to go in yet too. And then we may go all the way around the outside where it's ground to connect all this new glass we're putting on really good to the original structure. See, it's still taking its time emulsifying. Where it looks like it's still dry with bubbles, it's wet. It's just taking its time getting fully immersed, you know. Like I said, sometimes you just got to throw extra resin on it because you can, you know, it's going to start going on you, and you don't want it kicking off before you're finished, you know. That way there looks pretty good for us to put the rest of the glass right on, and we'll go ahead and roll it all out when we're done. I'm going to bust this into pieces too. Right up through that tight radius, because this is what's holding all this stuff to the original nose, right? We leave a cut edge here to stay away from that. If that spring wasn't there, we'd probably tear the end off too. But it just keeps the mess out of that spring. You just get this stuff here off your fingers and just roll it in the ball and it comes right off. You got to be careful. If you start pushing down here, you'll see that material is moving, right? We don't want it coming right out of there. Or I'm sorry, pushing it all right down into that corner. Then you'll get a big wrinkle in it, and you won't be able to, it'll be a big air void, and you won't be able to work it out of there. This material here is not so bad. I've had some in the past that the binder in it was so thick, kind of like, binder is like starch on your shirt, right? If you wear shirts like that. I don't wear shirts like that, but it's literally starchy. It's crispy, and it's what binds all these singular glass fibers together, because that's how they make it into a sheet, and adjust the weight or the thickness of the glass is by using a binder that holds together. I've had some binder that was so thick, so starchy, that it wouldn't even roll through a corner like this, even with loose ends. It just wouldn't. They were so darn stiff. And I think the fiberglass supply place probably got a pass on that, like they got in a bunch of it, and the manufacturer probably gave them a rebate, or maybe even didn't charge them for it, and they sold it anyway, because some of those places are mom and pop joints, you know. They need to make every dollar they can. But at least the guy, when I bought it from the fiberglass place I go to, he told me, listen, this isn't the best stuff. If you're just going to make like your side panels, which is pretty much flat, straight stuff, other than that radius, and it's a big enough radius where you don't have to ask the stuff to bend too much, he says it'll work real good. So we used it a lot doing side panels. So this should be our final piece here, folks. You don't want it too far down into that tight stuff, because the big piece, that's what's holding it really to the Bobby got nervous for nothing. We're gonna have a whole bunch of resin left. You know what? It happens, man. What do you do? Can't be perfect every time, right? I tried turning the radio down a little bit. Not that I care, sorry folks, what y'all think about the kind of music I listen to, but I've had an issue with YouTube, and a copyright issue. I guess you're not allowed to just play the radio in the background of your videos without some kind of issue. I guess you have to list who the artist is in the song and give them credit or something. I don't know. Hey, I'm listening to the radio. I listen to contemporary Christian music. And if YouTube doesn't like it, too bad. Just little bits. Yeah, she's good. She's good and wet. We pull it right up through. You see that? We're just pulling it right up through to get all these hairs leaning in away from there too, so they'll get caught on the roller. Let's grab the old roller real quick. Every bit of this is just manipulation, manipulating the material to do what you want it to do. I have rollers that have round edges on them and what have you, but I just tend to use, this is my favorite one. It's the cheapest one I have, just this cheap little wire roller, and it's literally my favorite. I've got a bunch of aluminum ones, other plastic ones with big, heavy plastic handles, and just for some reason these little cheapies just seem to work the best for me. I don't know. She's looking good. And should be strong like bull. I hate winter. I don't know about y'all. Living in Michigan. When I was a kid, you know, hey, frozen lake, go-karts out on the frozen lake, or, you know, dirt bikes, studded up, all that. Hey, it's all rock and roll. It's all good. Not anymore. I hate the cold. I'd love to get out of this state, but the wife doesn't want to move. Doesn't want to leave the family. And at this point, I guess it's probably doesn't pointless, you know. I mean, all my good days are behind me now, work-wise. All my opportunities are long gone now. But the sun came up again this morning. We'll keep working on it. I think I'm going to put a little bit just around these edges, folks. Something like this. It's got a sharp edge and then frayed. And we'll put the sharp edge out onto the raw original glass and put the frayed bits in onto the stuff that we're laying down, just to make sure it's good and stuck to this original structure, because we only gave ourselves about 1.5 inches of cleared away paint and what have you to get this thing stuck down. So we want to make sure that in case we do bump into somebody, we don't knock the front end off, right? Okay, we'll go this fit here. To be honest, folks, let's admit, anybody that's in their 50s, their best days are behind them. I mean, you know, their most productive days are behind them. I guess that's how I should have put it. I got blood clots in the leg. I got 4 stents in my heart. My back has been exposed to the world and repaired and put back together. But you know what? Until we're gone, we got to just keep plugging away, right? So I do what I do. I contribute over at the house there as much as I can. I don't make a ton of money, but who needs a ton of money? I don't need a ton of money. I don't need all that stuff. You know, I'm over it, past it. I got a toy. I got a little go-kart. I got the bike that I really don't ride. I've rode it once this whole summer. It's already, what, almost the middle of August. I've rode it once. That's kind of the doc, too. The hematologist kind of doesn't really want me on the bike. Thinks it's too dangerous with the medication I'm on. You know, I put the thing on the ground, and I could literally bleed to death. He says, actually, the way he put it was, even if there was an ambulance right behind me as I put it on the ground, the chances of me making it to the hospital without bleeding to death or something, tough chances. And I love my bike. And I actually thought about trying to get rid of it. You know, I think we put it up for sale. Thanks, Chris West, by the way. He put it on a bunch of Craigslist sites. A bunch of my buddies saw it and said, hey, what's going on? Why you get rid of the bike, you know? But no one's going to give me any money for it, and I'm not going to give it away. We paid a lot of money for that bike, and it's like anything else. It loses value instantly. Motorcycles, really bad, man. I mean, plenty of bikes out there for sale that are, maybe 10, 15 years old, 2003s and stuff, right? That doesn't seem like that's all that long ago. 600s, even leader bikes going for next to nothing, man. A couple grand, if that. So, yeah, I can't give my bike away for a couple grand. I got too much money invested in it, you know, with the financing and all that stuff. So I'm going to keep it. I'll just keep it. Hey, Jack, Hooker, Mike, Tracy, how you guys doing? Hope you guys like that side pod. When Jack stopped by, he says, hey, where's your bike? I said, it's over here at my brother's place, you know. He said, you get rid of it? I said, no, I don't think I'm going to, you know, and he brought up the fact that maybe, and I've done this for the first 2 winters that I had it here in Michigan, the bike went in my house, right in my house for the winter. Literally moved the couch away from the wall and put the bike behind the couch. And I may just do the same thing. I may just build a little stand for it so the wheels don't touch the ground, and drain the fluids out of it and put it in my house. Expensive piece of art, but I mean, hell, people spend a lot more. People spend a lot more. Professor Honda built a nice little piece there. I'm going to keep it. So that's it, folks. I think we're done. Plenty of material here. Looks like we've addressed all the voids, bubbles. It's going to be a good, strong repair right there. It looks good. Thanks for hanging out with me this afternoon. I'm going to, as I mentioned in the pre-video there, I'll throw some PVA on this Buddha deal before I head back across the street, but I am definitely going to go home, do some laundry, and wait for the DHL guy to show up with my new suit. Wait till y'all see that, man. And you know, you can go buy these things on the internet from anybody. I actually run into this guy. His name is Bilal, B-I-L-A-L, I-Q. This is his last name, I-Q-A-L. Iqbal, Bilal Iqbal. He's in Pakistan. And saw his suits on eBay. And when we went to Mid-Ohio, actually saw one of his suits, Sid Daniel. Sid, if you're looking in, hey, buddy, what's up? Bernard Brown on Facebook to the rest of the world, I guess. But he had a Kingfisher Force India looking karting suit on, and I knew it was one of these suits from this fella from Pakistan. So I went and asked him, about the quality and the comfort, and is it wash weld? Is it all these kind of things? And his wife had a Red Bull F1 suit on, and I've seen the Cuppersons, if you guys are looking in, hey guys, how's it going? Playing around out in the garage, go-kart stuff, the more things change, the more they stay the same, huh? But those guys drive Sid's karts every now and again, and they got Red Bull stickers all over them and stuff, so they got Red Bull different kart suits and stuff too. So the long story short, I wanted to ask Sid, did he like him? And he said yes. He'd never spend the big bucks on another suit again, and that they were decent quality. And what I was most concerned about, that repair's done, folks. Let me pull you off there. I was most concerned about that looks pretty good, huh? I was most concerned about the duty, paying duty, and the issue of customs and all that. You know, would they send you something at tax time if they don't nick you as soon as they send it? And Sid said no. So that's why I contacted the company and I said, listen, can I make a custom suit? And they said yes. So I took a week or two, about 10 days, and I put a piece of paper over top of the screen on my computer and outlined a rendering of, I think it was a Burrell cart suit that they make, and did the front, each side, and the back, and then I copied it a bunch of times, and I just started coloring it, making designs, and it turned out really good. And they about 35, 40 email later, back and forth, we finally got the colors right, all the logos in the right place and stuff, and it. Man, if it looks anything like the pictures they showed me as they were sending it off, super duper excited about this new suit. I know it's just a suit, right? Well, told you, the shoes and the laces got to match the suit, got to match the helmet, got to match the paint job on the car. Everything's got to match. It's real easy to just go over to England and buy Gavin Bennett's cart or somebody else over there that's got fast stuff. Just takes money, right? But to make them look good it's a gift. It takes a little skill. And let's be honest, the little kids at the track, they always remember the best looking go-kart. So that's it. We'll throw a little PVA on this thing here. Maybe we'll bring you a little bit of that, but I'm going to get me a peppermint, a little lifesaver, and maybe a coffee. But the repair over there is done. That's it, folks. We'll see you in a few minutes. God bless.